We found Michael to be a bright, intelligent young man, but he's a young man who needs a real family. Social workers say he's apprehensive about adoption. Nothing has ever lasted for long in this boy's life. You could turn his life around. If you're interested, call the Community Information Services at 696-4262. I'm Jim Finnerty, City Camera News.
Coming up, a report on a beautiful day for the wearing of the green and following the green stripe.
Boy, it sure was, and we've got more City Camera. As Jim said, we had a fine day for the wearing of the green. Thousands of people crowded downtown streets to watch the city's 110th St. Patrick's Parade. The Marine Corps Band from Cherry Point, North Carolina led off the parade. Area high school bands and floats and leprechauns followed along. And everywhere you looked, people were having a good time. The official estimate is 50,000 people turned out to watch. There was a lot of competition to find the best vantage point. And on the reviewing stand today, watching the parade, was an honored guest of the parade officials, a dedicated man who has spent most of his life downtown. And we get the story from City Camera's Neil Zerker.
Well, the intersection around 6th Street and Superior just won't seem the same. Patrolman Joe Dura, who has walked that beat for 28 years, retired today, ending 33 years on the force. This afternoon, prior to the St. Patrick's Day Parade, of which he was an honorary marshal, Joe and I took a last walk around his old beat and reminisced.
The one thing the police department lacks is communication, and that you can't put in the computer. I wish we had enough of men to put on every corner they have here in the downtown area.
But even as the parade passed him by today, Joe Dura was not saying goodbye, only so long for a while. And there'll still be a Dura on the police force, Joe's son, Patrolman Don Dura. Neil Zerker, City Camera News on Superior Avenue.
Nationally and internationally, we have been following these stories today. President Carter's visit to West Virginia, where he attended an energy forum. He talked of an inevitable shift from oil and gas to coal as a main energy supply. And the chief executive supplied his own energy by chowing down on a cheeseburger in the employees' cafeteria in the West Virginia State House. And for Cuban Premier Fidel Castro, a state visit today, he arrived in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. And we'll have details on these stories at 6:30 as our news hour continues with the CBS Evening News.
Mighty big development in baseball today, and Jim Mueller's got it coming up.
A landmark decision for the future of baseball. That's what Commissioner Bowie Kuhn is calling Judge Frank McGarr's ruling in his favor in that lawsuit filed by A's owner Charlie Finley. Of course, Charlie sees it a little differently.
You know, I've been in baseball a little over 18 years now, and I can't help but feel in a way that maybe, and I say maybe, there's 18 years of sweat, blood, and sacrifice down the drain.
Pending the appeal, it would seem that Bowie Kuhn's position has been enhanced by this decision.
Well, it would appear that way, John, but since he will realize very quickly that we're filing an appeal, I don't think that he will continue to be as brave as he has been in the past. He'll just have to wait and see himself.
The Indians won another Cactus League game this afternoon. Larvell Blank slammed a 3-run homer to help the Tribe beat the Milwaukee Brewers 14-7. 19-year-old Wayne Webb is still showing the way in the $75,000 Muriel Open after 3 rounds. Despite opening today with a 179, Webb regrouped to build his lead over Jim Godman to an even 200 pins. The field of 192 has now been cut to 24, and they'll begin head-to-head match play tonight at 7. Heading into that 8-game block, veteran Dick Ritker is in 3rd place. Dick snapped a 2-year victory drought last week, and that has his adrenaline flowing.
Definitely does. You know, the money in the bank counts and frees up your swing a little bit, but I had bowled bad for 2 years and just kept working every week at my game, trying to perfect and bring back the little things that made it good, and last week was the culmination. Made the TV show and then won in 1 game.
Now, they tell me that you might be contemplating retiring from the Pro Bowling Tour. Has the victory changed your mind on that?
Not contemplating. I am going to definitely retire from what we call full-time participation. I'll probably only bowl 4 or 5 tournaments next year, spot the tournaments at bowling centers where I feel I have to go back because I've got friends, personal friends in the game and so on. But I'm going to devote most of my time to professional instruction.
The Cavaliers will host the Houston Rockets tonight at the Coliseum. Of course, the last time out, the Cavs were 31-point losers to the 76ers, but that was 2 days ago.
Well, it's difficult to put over our minds, but it's something that we can learn from, certainly. I think we had a bad game ahead of us somewhere. It's been a tough road towards the end of the season, and I think we needed something like that to wake us up. And the toughest part is ahead of us now with San Antonio and Houston coming in this week.
Other than the obvious factor of being a physical strain, what's it like to play 4 games in 4 nights?
It's pretty tough, especially when we don't play them all at home. You know, we have to travel to New York on Friday. So we've been preparing ourselves all along for this tough part of the schedule, so I think we'll be ready for it now.
More trouble for the Cleveland Barons. Former general manager Bill McCreary is suing the team's owners for $3.1 million for slander and breach of contract. The Barons are off tonight after losing to Buffalo 6-2 at the Coliseum last night in front of their second largest crowd to date, nearly 12,000. Rick Hampton didn't score for the Barons against the Sabres, but he has had a hot stick since Coach Jack Evans moved him from defenseman to the wing. Fred McLeod asked Rick if he likes the wing or would prefer to switch back to defenseman.
You find yourself, you're running around a lot. Well, it doesn't really matter. It's up to Jack. If Jack wants me to play on the wing, I'm happy there, and if you'd like me to go back on the fence, I'm happy there too. So it doesn't make much difference to me.
But as far as the adjustment has been, has it, been a situation where maybe game after game it gets a little bit easier?
Yes, well, it's tough to change from one position to the next, especially in the middle of the season. And if I come in next year and I play left wing, I'm going to find it that much easier going through the season. Maybe I'll score 10 more goals than I did this year playing on the wing. I'm used to it.
The NCAA Wrestling Championships got underway this afternoon out in Norman, Oklahoma, and Cleveland State's Ron Varga defeated a guy named Phil Mueller, no relation, in the 167-pound class to advance to the second round. George Foreman and Jimmy Young will tangle tonight in San Juan, each hoping for a victory that'll move them a step closer to Muhammad Ali's heavyweight title. Foreman has been tabbed a solid 3-1 favorite. On the Pro Golf Tour, the Tournament Players Championship is underway today, and it's Tom Watson and Don B sharing the early first-round lead. Both had 4 under par 68s today. And now, Jim, you're on the tee.
Okay, thank you, Jim. And Dick, thank you for a nice day on behalf of all the people who marched in the parade.
Sure. You're welcome. We had 43 degrees on this St. Patty's Day. You might think, gee, that's a little chilly, but that is the actual average high for this date. And we seldom meet averages. The day we did had a wind chill factor, made it seem a lot colder. After midnight, we'll have some stuff falling on our heads, and I'll tell you what we can expect in a minute. Our weather system's right on schedule today. We had the sunshine, albeit a rather chilly day with a high of 43. The wind chill factor gave us the equivalent temperature closer to 20 degrees. Last night I had indicated that this would be our day of 12 hours of daylight and 12 of darkness. Our equinox before what is actually the vernal equinox. Don't pay attention to what that dummy told you last night. On Sunday, the vernal equinox occurs, and at 12:43, winter ends and spring begins. And spring is going to begin with some snow up in the northern part of the Great Lakes. I don't believe we are going to get anything in the way of an important snowfall here. We are still waiting for the last snow of the winter season. We always get one in mid or late March. That is not in sight tonight, although the low-pressure area that at 1 o'clock today was located out here in the Midwest was creating a very extensive cloud deck that was moving into the state of Ohio, and we have clouded over in many areas of the state now. I would feel if you're driving tonight, you have no weather problems until after midnight. It is raining in Indiana. It is raining in Illinois now. And all of this ahead of a storm center deepening over Nebraska, causing 1 to 3 inches of snow from, well, northwestern Nebraska up through Minneapolis. Minneapolis already has had 2 inches of snow. This low is going to track northeast, should be in the state of Michigan during the day tomorrow. I mentioned the problem last night that is still there. Temperatures are going to be very critical tonight in the northern counties of Ohio. Precipitation after midnight could begin in your area as rain and or a mixture of rain, light snow, or sleet. But I feel it would end and turn entirely to rain by early tomorrow morning as the air is brought up from the south. The whole system moving east of here by tomorrow night, putting us back into some rather chilly air for the weekend. Golfers, tennis players, I don't think you're going to like the temperatures here Saturday, although they will be very close to normal. In the deep south, it is very warm today, and it was a fairly cool day, but a dry day out in the far southwest.